this. Hey, doing Duff here, and you probably just saw a few seconds of the behavior that I'm still fighting with my CR-10, where it is not feeding the filament at times. It's very weird. Like, you can see the build plate here. I started printing something yesterday, and it was sort of working, but during the print, you would see the filament stop feeding, and you'd hear clicking coming from the extruder. And I actually looked at the gear here, and the gear is like clogged with filament dust from it, like grinding on the filament, not being able to feed properly. In my last video, I told you I thought that I had it fixed because I swapped the nozzle, and I was able to complete a decent print after that, and I thought the problem was fixed. Although when I did that print, there was some weird behavior where scattered around the build plate there was these little piles of spaghetti filament, little small piles, like little knots, and I wasn't quite sure why that was, and I was bouncing it off of David. He's one of the guys that's been commenting on my videos lately, who has a lot of CR-10 experience and 3D printing experience in general, and I was wondering if possibly the spare nozzle that was given to me with my printer was a 0.3mm nozzle, not a 0.4. They weren't marked, so I'm not sure, but my theory was if it was a 0.3 and I had the G code and it was sliced for a 0.4 nozzle, that could possibly cause the problem where it would be trying to feed filament at a faster rate than a 0.3 nozzle can take. So to try to rule that out last night, I took off the spare nozzle that I replaced, and I put in I bought like a 6-pack of generic 0.4mm nozzles, MK8 nozzles that fit on a CR-10. And I put that on hoping that, okay, that should be it, my problems are behind me. And lo and behold, like I said, I started the print, and again I saw inconsistent feeding of filament and getting stuck and grinding and all that kind of stuff. So it was very disappointing. So anyways, my game plan now, because I got the last piece that I was waiting for, you might know, well, you probably can't tell, but this is actually the Boral Oscillate glass, the $46 piece of glass, 1/4 inch thick. It does seem very, very straight, very flat, gives a very substantial surface to print on. So unfortunately, since I haven't been able to get the filament feed problem figured out, I haven't been able to do a lot of extensive testing on it, but I do have this on, and it seems to be okay. But I did receive my solid mounts for the bed from Tim Hoagland. I'm going to take the springs out and mount these, and I'm just going to go full bore, and I'm going to replace the extruder with this all metal extruder that I bought from McEwen 3D, and I have my Capricorn super duper PTFE tube. I'm going to install that, but before I do any of that, I'm going to actually take this apart somewhat, take the tube out and heat it up, and I'm going to take back out the Bowden tube here, and remove the fan so I can get a good look down the throat of the heat break, and I'll take the nozzle out just to make sure that there's nothing else in there, because I'm wondering if possibly I still don't have a good flat fit with the Bowden tube into the heat break. Maybe there's a gap there that is periodically causing some sort of resistance on the filament. You know, that's a theory. So I'm going to rip it all apart, take a look at that, and replace these parts while I'm at it. So I'll document it best I can. Alright, so I've taken out these 2 screws here, which are the mount for the Easy Able. Now I'm backing out the nut for the Bowden tube. I'm going to get this off. I just turned on the printer, and I have the nozzle heating to 190. I don't know if you can see this or not, but you see there is filament already coming out, so I just don't understand why the jam is occurring And the other odd behavior, which I forgot to mention before, was if I would stop a print because of the extruder jamming, I would stop it, I would raise up the Z-axis, and then I would, through Octoprint, I would issue like a extrude 10mm command, and it would feed absolutely fine. It would not have a problem whatsoever. So this has been a really, really confusing issue for me. I'm not sure why it's behaving the way it is, but I'm hoping the combination of things that I'm doing are going to alleviate my issues. So let me finish getting this out, and I'll get this tube out, and then I'll probably take the nozzle out to look down and just make sure nothing is clogged in there. Okay, so I got that totally unscrewed, so I'm going to pull this out. And there was a little bit of, is that going to focus or not? There's a little chunk of filament in the tube, but it popped right out. The tube itself, I don't know if anyone else finds these things incredibly difficult to get out. I think my extruder came with a new fitting. Yeah, it looks like it did. It came with a new fitting I can use here. Hopefully it's not quite as annoying to get off. Alright, so let me disassemble this further. So I now have the Bowden tube that was in there totally out, and I'm struggling to get the fitting off the tube, which makes me think that there might be some sort of damage to the tube right there again, because that was something that happened before. But I mean, I am pulling on this. Oh my god. Pulling on that as hard as I could, and it's freaking stuck. So annoying. Alright, so I mean, I wasn't planning to reuse this tube anyways, but I need to be able to get that off. I'll worry about that later. Okay, so now I'm going to try to get the I'm going to get the nozzle off so I can get a good look down the heat break to make sure that there's nothing in there that could be causing me issues with clogging. This is my less than elegant solution to try to get it broken loose here. Okay. I'm holding so it's the thermistor pack. Okay, so it's broken loose at that point. So I'm going to back the nozzle all the way out. Okay, just got it out. So let's take a look inside and see what we got here. See how good or bad it looks. Hopefully I can actually see. Well, it looks fine to me. I don't think I have a way to get it on camera, but I don't see anything in the throat there of the heat break. It looks fine. At this point, I'm going to work on replacing this, replacing the extruder, replacing the tube. I'm going to turn the printer off at this point and see what we can come up with. Alright, so here's the parts that came with the kit. This one has the extra long tube here that's designed to work better with flexible filament. That's my understanding. There's some of the guts that are included with it. It looks like we have some extra parts actually. Here's the arm, and again you can see that this is designed for flexible filament. I've seen a plastic version of this piece where you stick the PTFE tube through here and cut it as it is here. So this should be going here. It looks like almost all the parts. It doesn't look like I'm going to be reusing any of the screws or anything. Elsa, yes, you're squeaking. So anyways, let me get busy here while Elsa is squeaking. Okay, first thing I'm removing is this auxiliary filament guide that I printed out to keep the filament from bumping against the threaded Z-rod. I'm not sure that I'll need that guide with the new extruder or not, but we'll see. Okay, I got that guide out. Now I'm going to work on taking apart the plastic extruder. I'm using the Allen wrenches that came with the printer. This would probably be much easier if I used you know, like a nut drive that had Allen extensions on it. That screw seems really loose. The screw in the pivot arm here feels very loose to me. Not sure how tight that's supposed to be, but alright, so I'm going to take out this screw, and this screw, and see what that leaves me. Okay, first screw out, which relieves the spring arm and this pressure pulley, either pulley, whatever. And I'm just holding the spring on. I'm trying to kind of keep things laid out in a sensible way so it makes more sense when I put the new one on. So let's see if I can zoom in here. You can see the teeth on this extruder. Yeah, you can see some of the caked on ground up filament that's on here. So I won't be using this again, and I'll clean this up, I guess, so I have it as a spare, but that is a symptom of the problem. With these screws here, the ones that are on the Bowden output side, these have a round head, and the one that's left on the input side is a flat head. Take note of that. Whoa! Was not thinking about that. When you as you can see, if you screw these out, I didn't realize that the motor is being held up that way. When you screw these out, if you don't catch it or you don't support it, it's going to drop out like that. So don't do what I just did. Get your hand underneath. It seems okay. I don't see any problem. But you might be able to get a better look again at this drive gear, how gunked up it is with junk. So I'm going to take that off, take the drive gear off, because obviously I'm going to want to replace that as well. Alright, somehow trying to find the smallest Allen wrench. It's probably in plain sight right in front of my face, and I don't see it. It's annoying. Okay, so after spending 5 minutes looking for this stupid Allen wrench, guess where it was? Right here in the tool holder where it's supposed to be. So let me back this off. Looks like there's 2 set screws to hold this gear on. And I am a little curious about how you determine how high or low it goes in this shaft, but I guess we'll find out together. And this is awesome. One of the set screws appears to be so tight that it won't spin. The Allen wrench is kind of, it feels like it's frickin' stripping it out. Okay. Well, this is an issue. I went out and got another Allen wrench just from my my toolkit. You know, figuring it might be better than the cheap one that they supply you with the CR-10. And these set screws are acting like they're stripped. Like I can't back them out. That sucks. I mean, I could continue to use this drive, but I would much rather use the one that's provided with the kit. I'm assuming it's better. Yeah, actually I can tell that it looks like the teeth they're not as fine. The teeth are bigger. Yeah, they're definitely much bigger teeth that are designed to work with this pressure wheel, so I need to get this off. I either need to get this off or get another damn motor. Alright, so I'm going to fight with this a little bit, but I'm not quite sure what I can do if this set screw is indeed stripped out, which it sure is feeling like to me. I don't know if you can see how far that's driven in. I mean, you know, what the heck do they do? Use a freaking air tool to attach this? I can't believe that I can't break that loose. It's so annoying. Okay, when you strip out a drive head and you don't care about it anymore, take a drill to it, drill out those set screws, and there you go, it's out. Alright, so there's no there's no détente or anything when you put this new drive gear on here to know how far down it's supposed to go in the shaft. Obviously you want to line up one of the set screws with the flat surface, but as far as how far down it goes, so I just put the top piece on here and I just have it that the drive gear is pretty much centered with this. Okay, so right here's the drive teeth, there's the tube. I'm gonna actually move that up a little bit. It's down a little further, but a little further than I want, but you get the idea. The clearance here between the output for the filament and this drive gear, it's extremely tight. I'm assuming that's by design, I guess, to minimize the ability for it to like flex, like if you're using flexible filament, but it might be a millimeter, if that. It's super tight, but I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so that plan I had to line up the gear was not quite accurate because I didn't account for the fact that you actually mount the motor underneath the mounting plate and then the top part of the extruder on top of it, so I'm going to actually have to loosen these up and raise the drive gear a little bit. Yeah, there's really a big difference between the old drive gear and the new. Huge difference. With the teeth on there, the teeth are much bigger on the new drive. Bigger, grippier, and again, I guess that's so it does better with flexible filament, but it's like night and day. So I'm glad I'm replacing that. All right, so when reassembling this, the way this is designed with the piece of PTFE tubing sticking out, I'm not going to need that filament guard, so I need to mount the original screws back in without the guard. Okay, I just about have this assembled. One little weird thing is this the spring. The way it's set up is you put this M4 screw in, and then that just kind of acts like a mount. There's a longer, thinner screw there. You just kind of push the head of the M4 in place. You screw this back so it starts popping out, and that kind of holds it in place. It's kind of interesting. It feels much stronger than the plastic factory shooter, as you can imagine. So I think I'm probably at a stopping point for right now for tonight. So at all the excitement I can take, and I'll pick this up again tomorrow. Alright, we are now next day. Last night before I called it quits for the night, I did insert my Capricorn, my new Capricorn tubing, cut it to length, and I did reinstall the nozzle on the back, back onto the hot end. So at this point it's just reassembly. So I need to put my mount for my Easy Able back on, which I have sitting around here somewhere. Got stuff all over the place. So much for keeping things nice and tidy. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to put this back on, put my fan back on. Guess I should do that first. And this is all pretty straightforward, so let me get this part done and I'll be back. Tell you what, I'm getting really annoyed with how easily these screws strip out. I put the second one in here and it feels like it, you know, what the hell, I'm using the tools that are provided with the printer. It's not totally stripped, but it's frustrating. Okay, so going through some very frustrating moments, trying to get the, if I'm not mistaken, the way I had these laid out, these were the screws that I was using to attach my Easy Able bracket to, but they seemed like they were too short. I was having a hell of a time getting them started, so I used some slightly longer ones that I had left over from replacing the extruder, and I got them in, but man, that was frustrating. It's you know, the older I get, the more I'm finding that I'm just, when it comes to getting to do something versus having to fix or tweak something, I tend to lean towards the product that allows me just to do what I want to do and not necessarily tweak and maintain. Like I have been doing lately on the CR-10. I'm not being delusional when I realize a lot of this stuff is self-inflicted. You know, when I added the leveling kit and some of these other mods that I didn't necessarily need to do. But I did them just because I saw a lot of other people doing them, so in retrospect maybe I would have been better off not jumping off the deep end, but now I'm in the deep end, so I need to swim my way out. So anyways, I have this reconnected, and now I'm going to tape these together, insert this into my brand new metal extruder, clean up the mess, clean off the, oh, you know what, no, I'm not going to do that yet, because I forgot I have my solid mounts here from Tim Hoagland, so I need to put these in as well. But let me get the hot end back together first. Okay, so here you can see the solid mounts I got from th3d.com. I'll have a link in the description. I have 3 regular ones, and then you have another one that has the heated bed cable strain relief built into it. So, and they all look identical. So I'm going to take this apart and install them. I don't think there's rocket science here. Basically, you're removing the knob, and you're popping the screw out, taking the spring out, threading the screw through your solid supports, and tightening it all back up. So that's the plan. Should be able to pop that out, remove the spring. Seems like the build quality in this is nice. It has a nice little metal insert in the middle of the solid support. Okay, let's pop through. If you want to see what this looks like installed, there you go. Just going to put the knob on, tighten it up all the way, and just to ensure it doesn't come off, I'm going to put one of these nylon lock washers on there as well. Actually, I don't even think I need a washer. That's nice and tight. I think I'm just going to let it fly like that and see how it does in printing. If I do see that it still is loosening up during print jobs, I will I'll put a nylon lock washer on there. But let's see how it is with the solid mounts. Put my glass back on, clean up this mess, try to load filament, and cross my fingers. Alright, I just raised up the print head a little bit, and I'm bringing the hot end up to 210, and I'm going to try to see if I can load some filament. I'm going to have it get stuck on the tube on the other side. Come on, baby. Does something go smoothly? Just one thing. And just one thing goes smooth. I can't get it into the damn Capricorn tube. I'm just trying to get it to come out the damn hole here. Can't even get it to do that. It's getting hung up on something. So something from the inside is This should be a smooth shot all the way out. I'll tell you, this episode is really, yeah, it goes in all the way that way, easy. Too bad you can't lose filament that way. This episode really has made me appreciate the simplicity of my Flash Forge Finder. I might not be able to do everything that a CR-10 can, but at least I'm not spending half my time freaking modding it and making sure shit works. Okay, I got the tube through. I got the filament through. Now I'm just going to push it to the hot end, hopefully. And hopefully I start to see some great filament come out the other side. Just I see a little bit. That was an Extrude 10. You can see it did come out. Maybe you can see just kind of ball up down there. So let's extrude some more. I'm going to extrude 20 millimeters. Look at that. Can you believe that shit? Let me start a jam again. How can that be? I don't get it. You hear it, right? I don't get it. Hopefully someone else has a better idea than me. Maybe you do see stuff is coming out. Maybe the straight extrude command, if you keep doing them, it starts to push it faster than it can come out. Maybe. So maybe because the default setting is 5 millimeters. Fuck this.